So, you think you know AI because you've been using tools like ChatGPT. Well, get ready for a serious upgrade. Today, we're talking about AI agents. This is a totally game-changing technology that goes way beyond just chatting. We're talking about AI that actually gets work done for you. And believe me, it has the potential to save you hours every single day.
You know, I love this analogy because it just hits the nail on the head. A spoon is great, right? It's a useful tool. But you're not about to cook a 5-course meal with just a spoon. In the same way, the chatbots we're used to are just one tool in a much, much bigger kitchen. It's about time we met the rest of the team.
And right there, that's the big shift. This is the whole idea. We're moving from an AI that's just a conversational partner to one that's an autonomous teammate. An AI that doesn't just give you answers, but one that actively goes out and does complex, multi-step tasks for you without you having to look over its shoulder every second.
To really get why AI agents are such a huge leap forward, we kind of have to look at how we got here. See, it's the next step on a ladder that starts with tech that, honestly, a lot of us already use every single day.
Okay, this table lays out the whole journey perfectly. On the left, you've got simple automation. Think really rigid, if this happens, then do that, logic. Then we moved into LLM-powered workflows, which got a little smarter. They could adapt that part, maybe draft a personalized email reply. But the AI agent? That's a whole different ballgame. It's built to operate in complex, messy, unpredictable situations. It decides its own steps to reach a goal, like, say, researching and qualifying a brand new sales lead completely from scratch.
So what's going on under the hood here? What's the secret sauce that gives an agent this incredible new ability to act all on its own? Let's pop the hood and break it down.
So if you're going to remember one word from this whole thing, it's that one right in the middle, autonomous. It's not just following some script someone wrote for it. No, it's actually perceiving what's going on, checking its goals, and then deciding for itself what the best course of action is to get the job done.
Think of these as the agent's superpowers, right? First, it has autonomy, so it can work by itself. Second, it has a clear objective. It knows exactly what its mission is. Then it has access to memory and tools, so it can connect to your databases, your calendar, your apps. And finally, it uses multi-step logic to chain a bunch of complex actions together. That's what makes it a genuine digital teammate. And this is basically its thought process. It's this constant loop, right? Something happens, a trigger, like a new email, the agent checks its instructions, dives into its memory for context, uses its AI brain to decide what to do next, and then grabs its tools to actually do it. Then, it just waits for the next trigger. It's this endless cycle of sensing, thinking, and doing.
Okay, enough theory. This stuff isn't some sci-fi concept from the distant future. Companies are using agents right now to solve real, and let's be honest, often really boring business problems. Let's look at some real examples.
I want you to imagine you run a wedding planning business. You get dozens of questions just like this one. They're anxious, they're emotional, and they come in every single day. Answering all of them takes a ton of time and patience. It is the perfect job for an AI agent. And just look at that response. It's not some robotic, no policy says. The agent actually understood the client's anxiety. It consulted its memory, the company's terms and conditions, and it put together a reply that was empathetic, accurate, and genuinely helpful. It solved a problem 24/7 without a human ever getting involved.
And you start to see the applications are literally everywhere. An agent can handle a doctor's entire scheduling system, going back and forth with patients to find the perfect time. It can analyze and score new sales leads so your team knows who to call first. It can even go through all your meeting transcripts and give you a summary of the key takeaways. The possibilities are huge.
And here's the really cool part. You don't need to be a computer scientist to get started with this. Let's walk through how you can actually design the blueprint for your very own agent.
See, it all comes down to having a good plan. First, you have to define its mission. What is its core job? Then you give it the right memory, all the documents and data it needs to be smart. Only then do you pick the tool. And finally, you define its logic. This simple approach takes what feels like a really complex idea and makes it a totally manageable project. But hang on, before you get all carried away with the possibilities, we absolutely have to talk about the single most important part of this whole process, building your agent safely and securely.
So what's the catch? Well, the catch is that giving an autonomous tool access to your data can be a massive liability if you don't set it up correctly. A poorly built agent can become a huge security risk, leaking sensitive info without you even knowing it's happening.
So here are 3 golden rules. These are non-negotiable.
First, never ever let it touch your raw, sensitive data. You create clean, safe versions for it to use instead. Second, you have to write a super specific prompt that includes very strict boundaries on what it absolutely cannot do. And finally, you have to test it and test it and test it again in a safe environment. Try to trick it, try to break it. You need to find the weaknesses before anyone else does.
And this is probably the most important thing to burn into your brain. At the end of the day, you are accountable. The AI agent is an incredibly powerful tool, but you're the one on the hook for how it's used and for the consequences of its actions. Period.
So really, the big takeaway is this. Building a great agent is 80% preparation and only about 20% configuration. The real magic isn't in clicking the buttons in some software. It's in all the thoughtful work you do beforehand, defining that mission, structuring the data, and building in those critical safety guardrails.
So that's the question I want to leave you with. What's the first thing you'd hand off? The future of work is already here, and it's not about replacing people. It's about augmenting us, freeing us up from the repetitive stuff so we can focus on the work that really matters. It's time to start thinking about building your own digital teammate,